Alright, here we go again. I'm back. We're going to do a few more examples on classifying polynomials. So our first example up here, it says 6x squared plus 7 minus 9x to the fourth. So the first thing we want to do is we want to rearrange it into standard form. What I like to do is I like to box up the terms so that I can move the term all together, not have to worry about what sign goes with what. So 6x squared, I've got a plus 7, and I've got a minus 9x to the fourth. Okay, so I want to take that minus 9x to the fourth and move it to the front because it has the biggest exponent. Then I want to take the plus 6x squared and put it in the middle. And then finally the constant term, the plus 7, will be last. Okay, so now comes to naming it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the degree. Okay, well this is, the exponent is a 4. So that means that I have a fourth degree. Okay, a fourth degree and then there's 1, 2, 3 terms. So that means it is a fourth degree trinomial. Okay, next example. Okay, we have 3y minus 4 minus y cubed. Okay, so once again, I'm going to box up my terms. You don't have to do this. It just makes it easier for me to keep everything kind of separated. So which one has the biggest exponent is the y cubed. So the negative y cubed needs to go to the front. The 3y is positive, so plus 3y in the middle. And then we've got the constant, which is the negative 4 or minus 4. Okay, so here we've got it in standard form. We're going to look at the first term. So the first term, the exponent is a 3. So that means this is a cubic. And there is 1, 2, 3 terms. So a cubic trinomial. Alright, now this last one has a little bit of work for us to do. So we have an 8, we have plus 7x, and minus 11x. Well, 7x and minus 11x are actually like terms because they both only have an x. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the 7x and the minus 11x and we're going to do that work. So 7 minus 11 is negative 4x. And so that's going to go first. And then we have our positive 8. We're going to write that down. And so we just have negative 4x plus 8 is our final answer, I guess, in standard form of that polynomial. And since it's just an x, there's not any squared or cubed or anything with it. That means the exponent is a 1. So if that exponent is a 1, that means it is a linear and it's got 1, 2 terms, so that means binomial. So there you have it. We've got number 1 here, negative 9x to the fourth plus 6x squared plus 7 is a fourth degree trinomial. We've got negative y cubed plus 3y minus 4 is a cubic trinomial. And then our last one here is negative 4x plus 8 is a linear binomial. So hope that helps, and we'll see you again in a minute. Alright, when we're adding polynomials, okay, we basically got two options. So here's our first example. We have 4x squared plus 6x plus 7, and then we're going to take all that and we're going to add it to 2x squared minus 9x plus 1, excuse me. Alright, so we've got our two options. Okay, the first thing we can do is just remove the parentheses and just combine all the like terms. So you can see here I have removed all the parentheses, and now it's just about combining like terms. So what I like to do again is I like to box it up. It's not absolutely necessary, it's just what's easiest for me. So I take my 4x squared, I'm looking for any other x squareds along this list. So right here I have plus 2x squared. So 4x squared plus 2x squared makes 6x squared. I move on to the next term. Now I'm going to circle that so that I know that it's different, but I've got a plus 6x, so I'm looking for anything else with an x. I have a minus 9x, so once I have that minus 9x, okay, I know that I have a 6, and then I have a minus 9. So a positive 6 and a negative 9, or a minus 9, is going to make negative 3x. And then I have a plus 7. The other constant is a plus 1, so 7 plus 1 is 8. And that's all there is to it. So 6x squared minus 3x plus 8, that would be your answer. Now, your other option is to take these same two expressions, the polynomial here and the polynomial here, and just stack the expressions on top of each other, matching together the like terms. So what that would look like is over here. Okay, you can see that I stack the x squareds on top of each other, the x's on top of each other, and then the two constant terms on top of each other. Alright, so now it's just pretty straightforward. I just do whatever it says to do. So 4x squared plus 2x squared is 6x squared. I have a 6 and a minus 9, so 6 minus 9 is negative 3x. And then I still have a plus 7 and a plus 1, which makes 8. So, as you can see, either way you're going to get the same answer. 6x squared minus 3x plus 8. Those are your two options. Pick whichever one you like, and then run with it. Good luck. Alright, now we're going to work on subtracting polynomials. Okay, and this is basically the same thing as adding polynomials. We're just going to have to do a little bit of work before we get to the addition part. Alright, so subtracting polynomials, we have 2x cubed plus 5x squared minus 3x, and then we're subtracting x cubed minus 8x squared plus 11. Okay, the first thing you might notice is the subtraction. The second thing you might notice is the fact that the terms don't exactly match up, and we'll talk about that in a second. Over here we have an x cubed and an x squared, just the same as here, but then the last term in the first one is a linear term, and then the last term over here is a constant term, so we'll talk about what to do when that happens. But the biggest thing is we have the same two options as when we were adding. We can either remove and just combine the like terms, remove the parentheses, that is, and just combine the like terms, or we can stack the expressions on top of each other and then match it up to like terms that way. Okay, the biggest thing is that we have to change the sign of whatever is being subtracted. That's the first thing that has to happen. Okay, we've got to make sure we change those signs so that we're actually getting the subtraction done. One way to look at it is to think of it as distributive property. Okay, so if you can see up here, I've distributed the negative, making it negative x cubed. And then a negative times a negative 8 would be positive 8x squared. And then a negative times a positive 11 makes this minus 11. Okay, it really is the same thing. It's just changing all the signs, okay, of that second term right here. We're changing this one, changing this one, changing this one, is basically what's happening. Alright, so once again, I'm going to box up my like terms and then go to work. So I've got 2x cubed. I look down here, I've got a minus x cubed, so 2 minus 1 is just going to be x cubed. Then I've got a 5x squared and a positive 8x squared. Alright, so 5 plus 8 is going to be 13x squared. So now I get to the minus 3x. Well, this isn't a like term. So since it's not a like term, this is the only linear term that I have. I just write it down. Minus 3x. And so then I'm done with that one. And then I have this, minus 11. It's the last term that I have. So I'm just going to write that down. There's not anything I can do with it. Just at the end, I'm going to get a polynomial with 4 terms instead of getting a trinomial like what I started with. Okay, and that's okay. You don't have to worry about it. The same thing is going to happen if we choose the second option. If we're going to stack everything up, we've still got to do distributive property at the beginning, or just think about it as changing all the signs at the beginning. And so you can see I changed everything here. When we go to stack it up though, I stack up my x cubeds, I stack up my x squareds, but since I don't have another linear term, I just leave a blank space. Okay? And then the same thing with the constant term with the second expression. Okay? I don't have a constant term in the first expression, and so I'm just going to leave a blank space right there. Alright? So, I have 2x cubed minus x cubed is going to be, yes, 1x cubed. Okay, and then 5 plus 8 is still 13. So I have 13x squared. I have the negative 3x basically plus a 0 because there's nothing there. Okay, so that's still minus 3x. And then I have nothing up here, so that's basically a 0. And then a negative 11. So I can just write that down. So as you can see, I'm going to get the same answer either way. Okay, you just need to pick an option that works for you. And then just run with it, you know, just whatever you think is easiest. The biggest thing is whenever you're subtracting, number one, you have to notice that you're subtracting. And then number two, you've got to remember to change the signs or do distributive property. Alright, I think that's all. Good luck on your lesson. We'll see you next time.